Welcome in, and today I'm going to talk about the them versus us mentality problem. Pretty much no matter who you are, if you play this game or not, no matter pretty much any community in the entire gaming space, there is going to be somewhat of a version of a them versus us. Specifically in Marvel Rivals, you have multiple of them. DPS versus support, top ranks versus low rank opinions. I can go on and on, there's several of them, but I'm more going to focus on the roles. More so the DPS and support back and forth. I'm not going to talk about tank because they're not nearly as loud, even though there are a few loud people in the tank role who express their opinions pretty toxically, but support and DPS are the most mainstream, which I'm gonna get straight into. There has been a history of them versus us between DPS and support throughout the entire history of all gaming, pretty much. It really started to bubble down, I believe, in Overwatch, and you had all the people pretty much done with Overwatch that wanted it to go away because it wasn't getting any better. Don't add any of this, don't add this, don't add that, don't change this. Oh, this is horrible. The game is a horrible experience to play. New game came out. People said it's an Overwatch clone called Marvel Rivals. And all those toxic people, the most and the worst of the worst, let me repeat, of the Overwatch community. The ones who have fought in the them versus us mentality for a very long time join Marvel Rivals. You can see with big content creators too, like Necros. His biggest one is the support controversy where the support strike happened, where he did a whole stream trying to prove support is easy, which I made a video about, I think, yesterday compared to when this video is coming out. But you can see that, but I won't repeat everything there. Just in case you saw that video and you won't want to hear a repeat of everything said. But my main points of that was, he's a very good player, skilled player, not just in Overwatch, not just in Rivals, but overall, a very good gamer in total, very high mechanically gifted. So him learning a new role and picking it up isn't very surprising when he didn't go to the highest role, not even his own rank. So, why I bring him up? Other than he's a big example, that is really when all the kind of a sleeper agent type thing all awoken in the Rivals community. It seemed like 90%, 95% of all DPS mains, if not even more, all just flipped a light switch in their head thinking support is boosted, support this, support that, they take no skill, they're brain dead, no good ticks. Like, okay, what does that solve exactly? Other than, I hate this role, I hate this people, you know, they're horrible, they're brain dead, they have no good takes, they take no good skill. Okay, what's your point? Are you actually going to do something productive with your life other than getting angry at people who don't play your role, who play a specific role you don't like, who you don't favor? And I'm gonna focus more on DPS, then I'll go into support players. DPS are so blindsided by several things. Their vision is so narrow. The vast majority of the toxic ones. If you're offended by what I'm saying right now, and I'm talking about toxic players, chances are you are one of them. DPS players. And I know a lot about this because hate commenters, this 0 IQ by the way, they always say if I have an opinion that they don't like, that I am a support player. There was a DPS dive main who's in my comments who's pretty chill. He's around pretty much a lot of my videos now, community posts as well. Someone disagreed with him. DPS main, mind you. They disagreed with him, a dive main, and said that he's a support so you wouldn't know what DPS are like. It has been the me versus us, you versus me mindset for so long that if you disagree with a DPS player, you're automatically a support player, simply because another DPS player didn't like the opinion you gave. These days, if you are a support player and you go into the wrong community, if you give a standout argument or opinion, if you give an pretty much just advice in total, you will be badgered by DPS players who think you know nothing, that you're not mechanically gifted, that you can't aim, etc. Like, you need good aim to play support. That's not a diss on support. Each role, you need something else to be best at. With DPS, the number one thing you probably need is aim. You could have bad positioning, bad everything, but if you have good aim and decent mechanics, you can barrel through the lower ranks. With support and tank, positioning is probably first on each of their mindsets. That is what pushes them along, is positioning, other than cooldown usage, which is also very important for both of them. It's like saying a tank isn't good if they don't know how to aim, even though they're very good at taking space, very good at ults, very good at cooldown management. Sure, let's say you take a Thing. Sure, he's just slamming. His fists can be like a 10-mile radius, even more with the Gamma team up. Oh, what do people say? Oh, he can't aim. Man, Thing players are absolutely brain dead. They have no good takes. They're horrible. They should just get off the game. They should kill themselves. And yes, that is true. I've heard people say supports should kill themselves. Simply for playing support, they should end it all. But with Thing, going back to him, just because he doesn't require aim doesn't mean he's not good at other things. People like to point out cloak and dagger mains. Oh, look at this clip. Look at them. No brain cells at all. Look how dumb they look. Oh man, they messed up their ult this time. Man, why are they still playing this character? Meanwhile, if you look at Punisher or Moon Knight or Squirrel Girl, they are notorious for being easy and spam in one choke for a whole minute and multiple ranks, getting infinite value and building their ult super quickly. Have you seen the awareness of clips of Punisher mains? Same with these other ones I mentioned. If you actively look for something, you are going to find it eventually. There was a test in real life. Someone asked another person, hey, can you count how many red cars you've seen tomorrow? I'm like, okay, I'll start counting. And like, wow, there's a lot of red cars. It's because you weren't actively looking for it beforehand. But now you are, so you're going to notice it way more. If you notice and say, wait, support players, man, specifically cloak and dagger players, man, they're so unskilled, they're this, they're that, they're brain dead. Once they make a mistake, that will be perma in your head now, because oh, the character I thought is brain dead, takes no skill, is super easy. The people who play them are absolutely skillless, brain dead, no good takes. Oh yeah, I just saw them make another mistake, because you know, cloak and dagger players always are supposed to be perfect no matter what. They can't make one mistake. Yep, that reinforces my opinion now. It's like, are you serious? Like, are you genuinely serious right now? Is that your mindset right now? You want everyone to play perfectly? Do you know how many DPS ults I've seen miss and they blame me? I've had a whole video in the past, multiple of them, one saved for members when I get to 500 subs, which really helped me with that. I'll need 50 more as of recording this. There was a Moon Knight main who got 1 kill with his ult during a 2 to 3 loss, which the only kill he got was me pulling a Magneto back into his ult because he timed it so horribly. And then you blame supports, of course, because, you know, why wouldn't he? And with the narrative stemming from, well, not exactly stemming from, but definitely enhanced by Necros, you will see a lot of hate no matter who you are. Going over to support side, I know I didn't clear everything on DPS side, but I cleared the main things. Support side, people are known. Let's go for Cloak and Dagger. I know Luna mains are known to be pretty toxic. I haven't seen many Luna mains either on my side or the enemy side in my competitive games. Maybe it's just lower ranks. Not to diss on lower ranks, because I have my respect for lower ranked players. I'm not disregarding all of their opinions because there's different experiences in each rank, just like how there's a different meta and console compared to PC. You can't throw out other opinions simply because they're low ranked. Getting that out of the way, I can't give my opinion on Luna because I don't have that much personal experience with her. Cloak and Dagger, on the other hand, I do. I know I just spent a couple minutes defending Cloak and Dagger mains, but you know, there's still bad ones out there. They're probably the most toxic support mains. Out of all supports, even out of Rocket Raccoon, his ult is definitely a lot riskier than Cloak and Dagger. Because while Magnetos can miss Cloak and Daggers with their ult, Rocket Raccoon's, his ult can get shredded very quickly, especially the Phoenix. So it's very much harder to rank up with a Rocket compared to a Cloak and Dagger. That's just my personal experience though, and my opinions. My point is, I've had many Cloak and Daggers, let's say just put on my team. I'm not talking about the enemy team, just on mine. I remember I had 2 Cloak and Dagger mains back to back on my team. I believe I was Loki and then Invis for one of them because it best fit my team. I think I had flyers for the Invis team. But anyway, the enemy team pushed it back 2 points, I think on the Asgard map. They weren't too dominant, we were still winning it, or at least we had a high chance of winning it. One of the DPS made a mistake. They weren't doing very good. Maybe I think one of our DPS, I think a Namor, had 20 kills, the other had 13 or 15. One of those numbers, and it was like a Punisher. the Cloak and Dagger main went heavily after them because she made a mistake with her ult. And when that DPS pointed it out, hey, that wasn't the greatest ult. We were already 3 down. I know you were trying to save the team, but you know, next time, would you please save that? And they're like, maybe you should get some kills before you talk about heals. And it's like, oh my god, they were being respectful about it. They were correct. We were already several down. They would have won the team fight eventually. We're just delaying the inevitable. Why not group up and don't stagger? Which I agreed with the DPS. I didn't say anything on mic because, you know, toxicity, but it still went during our entire push. We didn't even get first point because of the arguing. The Cloak and Dagger main just made it severely toxic because they instantly thought of criticism instead of constructive criticism. Someone can say, hey, could you please not do that anymore? That didn't work, and that would still be good. You want that, because what if you don't realize that was a bad ult and you keep making the same mistake over and over and over again? I remember when I played Luna for one game, this was several seasons ago, before I learned pretty much anything about the game, maybe even back in season 1 pretty much. There was a Namor on my team, and he's like, damage boost me, damage boost me. He ulted. I didn't know what to damage boost for. Do I go to the whale splash zone and damage boost that? Is that where the damage boost comes from? Or do I need to stay by the Namor and damage boost him? I didn't know which. Each one seemed equally probable. If I go to the damage and turn on the enhancement, the damage boost, does it enhance the damage now? Or do I need to stay on the source of the damage, which is the Namor? And when I was kind of in the middle, couldn't decide which one, he's like, oh, you don't know how to do that. And okay, I learned instantly after that and started doing it. Damage boosting every Namor instead of going to his ult. You need the constructive criticism. And I guess this is for both roles too. Well, all 3 roles, but more specifically, I'm talking about DPS support. They can't take constructive criticism at all. And some people try to hide just blatant disrespect and toxicity as constructive criticism. Oh, you suck. You shouldn't be in this rank. And they play it off and try to say, no. I was just stating a fact. It's like, okay, no, it isn't. And overall, this us versus them versus us mentality is just making the game extremely toxic. It's one of the things that hurt Overwatch so much. Overwatch right now, even said by the biggest content creators, which I put in previous videos, are saying Overwatch is still more toxic than Rivals. But if you keep festering and keep pandering to these players, not getting rid of them meaning, like, you know, actually being positive, you're going to end up like Overwatch. You already have players who are adapted to Overwatch's meta coming to Rivals and saying, man, this needs to change right now. It's like, have you played Overwatch before? And like, yeah. It's like, that's why. People say, oh, healing is way too much. It needs to be like all nerf. All healing doesn't get nerfed in this game. Man, it's almost like Overwatch and Rivals have a completely different meta. I agree that healing needs to get nerfed, but so does damage in this game. We don't want it to be exactly like Overwatch. Overwatch right now is, oh yeah, supports can heal, but their vast majority of impact are from their damage and their utility. While Marvel Rivals supports, well, yes, they can do damage, that doesn't really heavily impact a team fight. You could easily win as a Cloak and Dagger Rocket compared to a Loki Invis. Their damage in total pretty much is another ult charge for the enemy support. Sure, can you do extra burst damage with a Loki Invis? Sure, but it's not nearly, let me repeat, as impactful as Overwatch support damage. There's multiple supports in Overwatch which can 2-tap. In Marvel Rivals, there's only Luna, I believe. The vast majority of impact Marvel Rivals supports have are their healing and utility. Let's take Loki. I think he is a staple and the pretty much definition of a strategist in this game. He needs to strategize where he places his illusions. He's useless without them, pretty much. His utility, his immortality fields, or his runes, whatever you want to call them. He needs to use it perfectly in the best case scenarios, unless he's gonna lose the best benefit of his kit. And a lot of people coming from Overwatch that have, in my opinion, severely low healing compared to Marvel Rivals can 2-tap with most supports, and the supports are reliant on their utility to an extent. Well, Marvel Rivals, their damage doesn't really do too much, but their most impactful thing are healing and utility. And that creates more of a divide of them versus us. You have these, and in another kind of format here, the people who stemmed from Marvel Rivals and the diehard Overwatch fans. And the Overwatch Overwatch players. I loved Overwatch 1. Don't really like Overwatch 2, or I guess they took the 2 off now, which doesn't really impact anything. It's just like, okay guys, we made a mistake, we're going back now. But you'll see a distinction of people who started playing Marvel Rivals, in their opinions, versus Overwatch players who went over to Marvel Rivals. And that is a whole different division right there. Sum up the video by saying this, and I'll end it on this. The them versus us mentality is actively killing the game. Whether you like it or not, whether you intend for it to happen or not. You cannot stand around, disregard another role just simply because you think they are less skilled. You cannot just say someone is skillless, has no good takes, is brain dead, just because they play a role you don't like. Speaking directly to DPS players right now, I have met more of you on my comp games that have been horrible at support than actually good at support, that don't know the nuances, that do not know alt timings. This is the biggest tell right now of if you're a support player or not, if you're at least a good support player. Let's say 2 teams are fighting right now. Let's say the Black Panther payload map. Let's say that map. You're on offense. Each team has 2 walls. Let's say you're a mirror match. You're Luna and Cloak and Dagger. You're fighting, you're pushing. Minute goes by. 2 minutes go by. You're not making any progress. So let's say no alts have been used yet from tanks, DPS, or supports. The people who are support players will say, okay, let me use a support alt to push in. Now to most of you probably won't know why it's a bad idea, but actual support players, you will know why that's a bad idea. And I will explain it right now. If you push in with an ult, you are losing the ult economy instantly. No matter who you choose. Let's say you start off with Cloak and Dagger. You use Cloak and Dagger, you're a DPS player, you push in, you get on the first objective to try to claim it. Well, not only are you trying to push in, 2 to 3 of your dashes will probably be off the objective because the front line of the enemy team is so pushed forward. Let's just ignore that for now. The enemy Cloak and Dagger will then mirror you, meaning they will have an extra few seconds to deal with. Then your Cloak and Dagger goes out, then your Luna goes, then their Luna goes, and then they still have a few seconds to kill you without you being able to really kill them through without another support ult or DPS ult. Sure, you might have one certain scenarios in certain team fights, because let's say a Magneto dunks on an enemy support, but that's no help to you. They won in spite you instead of because of you. Real support players would try to heavily enable their team to force an enemy support ult first, because if you force out an enemy support ult first, then suddenly you're up in the support ult economy. That is one of the nuances. But yeah, this video's already gone pretty long, so let me know what you guys think of this video in the comments down below. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.